This is a blank that I purchased from Andrew Amtower. It's a little bit on the steampunk side. He's got kind of a metallic surface on the tube, and then on one side of the blank he's got a copper, sort of a Celtic cross. Really a beautiful looking blank. I'm going to be mating this to a kit that I got from Tony Oakshow. Tony sent this to me from the United Kingdom. This is a kit that he purchased in bulk from China, and he sent me a couple of them, asked me to try them out and see what I thought about them. Now, this is the same basic style as a Sierra. It's going to use the same tubes as a Sierra, and the main tube in the blank is a 27/64. So we're going to go ahead and try this out, and when we assemble it, we'll see what we think about this kit overall. Got a really nice fit down on both bushings. I was just being really careful with that. This is a Lumilite. It cuts really easily, and I wanted to make sure I got a nice finishing cut without any tool marks, and it feels really smooth from end to end. So I'm excited about that. I think once I polish it up with the micro mesh, it's going to look amazing. So let's get started. Take a look at that. I love it. Looking at this, one thing that's happening is I'm starting to question my kit selection. With the copper cross, I'm starting to wonder if I ought to purchase a similar kit, a Sierra or a Wall Street with copper cap and copper tip, or at least a copper accent to really set that off. I'm worried that the gold may clash with it. With this blank having a copper cross in the center, I thought it would be nice to use a kit with a copper accent, so I chose this antique copper Gatsby. This is a pretty simple kit to put together. There is a threaded section that gets pressed into the front of the pin. And that's going to let us thread on the front section, the nib. And I'm going to go ahead and do that because I think it'll be safer when I press the cap clip assembly in. And what I'm going to do is get my press adjusted out here. And I'm going to make sure I get this assembly in directly behind the cross. So let me give it a quick press here just to get it started. And then we're going to take a look at it. There's the cross. And if I look, you can see I'm a little bit cattywampus. So let me adjust that out a little bit. I'm going to pull that off frame because that's hard to do in front of the camera. Okay, we're ready to go. There's the cross. And if you look behind, I've got the clip directly opposite of the cross, which is what I was after. We're going to get this back into the press. And we're going to go ahead and finish pressing the clip assembly in. Now, the transmission threads into the back of the pin. Make sure it's good and tight. There we go. The cap rolled out of frame, but that presses on the back of the transmission. This pin ejects and retracts the ink from back in the back here, as opposed to the Wall Street or the Sierra, which turns the nib. We are going to go ahead and unthread the nib. We're going to pull the protective cap off of the ink. We drop the ink ring fill in. I've got the spring, and you can see this end is fatter than this end, so the thin end, or the smaller end, goes on the refill. We'll reattach the cap, or the nib. And let's test the action of our pen. Very nice. Take a little closer look at that pen. I'm getting a lot of reflection here. I apologize for that, but this is a beautiful pen. You know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like chainmail and like a Celtic Cross, like a knight might carry. Gorgeous pen. I'd really like to thank you for joining me in the shop tonight. This was a fun turn. I just love this. I mentioned it earlier. It kind of reminds me of chainmail and sort of a Celtic Cross. I think the addition of the antique copper kit really just sets off the blank. It's reflecting. It's kind of hard to see because I've got so many lights in the shop, and it really is reflecting. This thing just pops. It's beautiful in person. I wish I could get a much better photo or video appearance of it for you, but it's a gorgeous pen, and I really like it. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon. Have a great evening, everybody.